Capital City Sunday.
Good morning. This week on Capital City Sunday, President Donald Trump signed several executive orders on immigration policy on day one of his term.
Don't know how many millions and millions of people have crossed our border, so we have to secure it.
Freshman Republican Congressman Tony Wied of Wisconsin's 8th Congressional District joining me for comment on those orders and passage of the latest bipartisan immigration bill.
Flurry of executive orders on Tuesday outlined that his priorities are not, in fact, with people and working people in Wisconsin or across the country.
I also sit down with Libby Schneider, a spokesperson for the Democratic National Committee, for Democratic response to President Trump's first week in office. And as Governor Tony Evers gave his State of the State address, I'll be talking with both legislative Republicans and Democrats to hear their thoughts on what he's proposing. Thank you for joining us. I'm Darielle Fair. President Donald Trump was sworn in for his second term as president on Monday, and within his first week, he rolled out an extensive list of executive orders relating to changes in immigration policies at the southern border. During a signing in the Oval Office on Monday, President Trump declared a national emergency at the border, prompting a military presence there. Those orders are set to reinstate the Remain in Mexico policy introduced under Trump's first term, deny benefits to undocumented immigrants, pause all refugee admissions into the United States until border policies align with U.S. interest, and end birthright citizenship. Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul joining a coalition of 17 other states to challenge Trump's executive order on birthright citizenship. Kaul arguing the Constitution, federal law, and the U.S. Supreme Court have set precedent that children with undocumented parents who are born in the U.S. are citizens. And just as President Trump signed off on those executive orders, members in Congress took action to advance the Laken Riley Act. The bill is set to expand the federal government's authority to detain undocumented immigrants who have committed crimes.
There have been zero bills before us to lower the cost of goods, food, gas, housing, like we were promised in November, but we've had several bills specifically going after the immigrant community, but we're going to protect everyone.
12 Senate Democrats voting with all Republicans to pass the proposal. The House approving the measure Wednesday with support from 46 Democrats. The proposal now heads to President Donald Trump's desk. Joining me on the show this morning is Republican Congressman Tony Wied. Congressman, you represent Wisconsin's 8th Congressional District, filling the vacancy left by former Republican Representative Mike Gallagher, who resigned in April. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Congressman, you've now been in Congress for a little over 2 months. You came in during a time of transition for both Congress and the administration. What has been your focus so far?
Well, look, to being able to represent the great people here in District 8 in Wisconsin is an honor of a lifetime. I came from the private sector. I was in my own business, and my wife and I ran for almost 30 years. We raised our children all right in our district. And, to be able to be in this opportunity, the opportunity that was given to me and the faith that the people gave me to be able to serve them at the federal level, again, it's an honor of a lifetime. So right now, I campaigned on the major issues, which was, one, the economy. And, we've seen inflation that we haven't seen for 40 years. And in getting our economy back on track, driving it to make sure that we get those prices down, securing the border was a very big issue, something I'm very passionate about, and making sure that we do that and having control of our border.
Congressman, you spoke about the economy, immigration, but are there other specific policy issues you're hoping to tackle this session, or any specific committees you hope to be a part of in the future?
Our district, which is Appleton, Green Bay, and kind of north, is we're the largest dairy district for Congress. That's east of the Mississippi, the 4th largest district for dairy. And so I was very passionate. My job is to represent the people and the interests of our district. And so for me, it was very important that I get on the Agriculture Committee, and I did. And I'm on the subcommittees of Dairy and Forestry. Both are very impactful for our district. I was also very honored to be selected to be on Transportation and Infrastructure. Also very important to our district, to the state of Wisconsin, whether that's through the new highway bill that's coming up, that aviation, all of the ports, the waterways in our district. And also I decided to do a third committee, which is small business, something that's what I did my entire life. And I want to help Main Street, not Wall Street. I want to make sure that we're helping, it's mostly families, family businesses, small businesses in agriculture, manufacturing, the paper industry, those types of things. And I want to make sure that I'm an advocate, a representative for everybody in our district. And so I'm very honored to be on those three committees.
President Trump issued a slew of executive orders addressing the crisis at the border, some of those ending birthright citizenship, pausing all refugee admissions into the United States, and restricting federal funds from sanctuary cities. What are your thoughts on some of those actions that the president took earlier this week?
I think President Trump was very clear throughout the campaign, as was I during my campaign, and listening to the constituents as I went around to all of our 11 counties, that the border was a very big issue. People are very concerned because what comes with that recklessness of having an open, wide open border was, the criminality and the drugs and all of the issues. So President Trump was very clear. He is moving forward and coming, basically doing exactly what he said. One of the major things is, ending the Remain in Mexico policy, which I believe should be legislated too, also in Congress, which doesn't allow for people to cross the border and then apply for asylum, where that's what was been happening, these last 4 years. People are just coming over the border and they were gone. So I believe that he's doing the right thing. We have to have control of our border in order to have a safe and secure country.
Many Democrats, Governor Tony Evers even addressed the issue in his State of the State address on Wednesday, argued that immigrants make up a large part of Wisconsin's economy. Mass deportations would have a significant impact on Wisconsin's dairy farms, where an estimated 70% of the workforce is made up of migrants. Is there a plan to address the shortages that are likely to occur from these changes?
Well, we're in a difficult position right now, and President Trump is in a difficult position because we have to deal with the recklessness from the Biden administration. Our border was completely wide open. We don't know how many millions and millions of people have crossed our border, and so we have to secure it. I think that's very important, and that's what the voters decided when they voted for President Trump. He won the election, the popular vote, and I campaigned on that as well. I'm also on the Agriculture Committee, and we have a lot of great dairy farms, and I'm going to continue to lean into them and understand the issues from a workforce perspective, and all businesses are struggling with that. And we need to look at our immigration system right now, allow for work permits and things to make sure that they are properly staffed. But we do need to go through the deportation process, especially in starting with those that have committed crimes. I mean, that's why I was a co-sponsor of the Laken Riley Act. I think we need to, if somebody is here illegally and they commit a crime, even theft, they need to be deported immediately to prevent something tragic like Laken Riley dying. So this is something that we have to do. It's very important for a country to have a safe and secure border.
And I want to talk about that a little bit more, Congressman. The Laken Riley Act also made its way through the Senate on Monday, with 12 Democrats voting with all Republicans to pass the measure. The House approved that bill on Wednesday with Democratic support. Is this a bipartisan win for Republicans, and does this set the tone for what issues we can expect to see come forward this session?
Well, look, we have the majority, Republicans have the majority of those slightly in the House. We have the majority in the Senate, and of course, having President Trump. But, I'm one that wants to build, and I am building relationships with folks, Democrats, Republicans, and in my incoming class, I've got to meet some great people on the Democratic side, and I want to have good personal relationships, even if we don't agree on policies, maybe none. I think it's important that we do work together. We do find some things that are right for this country, and that is a bill that completely made sense. I'm proud of those that came across the aisle and voted for it, because again, we need to do what's right and secure our border and protect folks like Laken Riley in the future.
Congressman Tony Wied of Wisconsin's 8th Congressional District. Congressman Wied, again, thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you for having me.